Baker, it seems it's been effective. Big cities finally talking about immigration.
Yeah, and you've seen Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, saying the Biden administration and the White House has effectively failed New York City in what's been happening here with the migrant crisis, given the fact that there's been no federal funding whatsoever. To add intrigue to all of this, the New York Times got their hands on emails that were sent from Kathy Hochul, the governor's office, to New York City Mayor Eric Adams' office. Effectively, this fight that's going on between the two of them. She's claiming that the city is being slow when it comes to housing these migrants, putting them in different shelters. He's saying that they're not giving enough funding to help out.
But this is a big win.
I know,
right?
but for Republicans, Republicans who effectively used crime on cities effectively in the midterm elections, this is a really difficult dance for somebody like Kathy Hochul, who almost lost the governor's race against Lee Zeldin in a very blue state, as you just mentioned. And when the House is up for grabs, and so many of those seats are right here in New York, Republicans think that this could be a big issue for them, using crime and migrant crisis to help them continue to keep that.
Right, but I guess my point is that you can argue about the tactics, right? Not giving them heads up that they're coming, et cetera. But boy, it really has forced big cities to realize that there is a serious crisis in the country.
Yeah, newsflash, there is.
Right.
Okay, it's been happening for years, and they've been dealing with it for years and getting very little help.
And the big cities have been able to stay relatively,
not
immune from it.
Not in my back door. But listen, I spoke to Brandon Judd, the head of the U.S. Border Patrol Council. They want one thing, and it's really easy. President Biden reversed this policy when he took office, just as he did many others. The stay in Mexico policy, just keep them there. Let them do it in an orderly fashion and finish the wall.
Biden, of course, the wall I don't think is going to make a difference.
Of course,
but stay in Mexico.
Have you been there? Have you been there?
Yes, I have, actually.
So it absolutely is making a difference. 70% apprehension rate where the wall is. 70% and 30% where there's no wall.
But you would argue, I think you would agree, that actually using technology.
And it's a combination approach.
Right?
Absolutely. It's the wall, it's drones, it's infrared, it's everything. Yeah, absolutely, Dan. We're on the same sheet there. But bottom line is they want to stay in Mexico.
Well, look, and that's the thing, is that the Biden administration actually wanted to keep the stay in Mexico. They were sort of pretending. On the one hand, they're going into court and they're saying we oppose it. Oh, but if we can still use it, then we're going to still use it. We're going to still use Title 42 if we can, et cetera, because they realize that there are no other available solutions. And that's the problem. And it does seem to me that, again, while I'm not going to salute the tactics that some of the governors used, I do give them credit for raising the awareness of this issue. And I think it is now, because it's hitting home, all news is local, it's hitting home for some of these blue cities that they're saying, whoa, we really do have a problem. I mean, New York, you work at the New York Post, being one of them.
Yeah, I mean, we had the luxury of being 2,000 miles away from the border, and just 100,000 migrants has made the city just crumble, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what border states have been dealing with. And it's very easy to be up here and say, oh, we're a sanctuary city, and these very bad, mean, terrible conservatives down at the border are just anti-human and anti-migrant. And when it actually comes here to our backyard, we're now housing migrants in the parking lot of a psychiatric ward. Like, this is a humanitarian crisis. We actually have Democratic politicians here now asking Capitol Hill to change the federal regulation, which makes it a 6-month pause for anyone who gets here who's claiming asylum, where they can't work, they can't even feed themselves if they want to without breaking the law. And now we actually are asking for bipartisan support and cooperation on this issue, which, yes, I agree that there was some ethical questions about using people and busing people and certainly flying them somewhere like Martha's Vineyard. But we now are having a conversation about it.
Yeah. Does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me, no. But getting back to sort of the heartless part of a lot of it, I mean, those of us living in New York City, we're seeing it now firsthand. I mean, I live near Central Park, and right outside my apartment, there's numerous migrants who are living effectively on the streets, and it breaks your heart because you now see it firsthand. Back to the politics and all of this, the big question will be is if Kathy Hochul allows some of these migrants to go to other parts of the state and effectively disperse them out from the city.
But that's just New York politics.
Well,
I mean, that's just New York.
Upstate. They've been bussed upstate and met by protests.
But I think she's worried about the political calculations in a lot of these areas that Republicans were able to flip, basically having those migrants go to a lot of those places.
Republicans were able to successfully pit Democrat against Democrat on an issue that hadn't been Democrat against Democrat. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.